Good morning. It's good to see you guys. This is Anita Gibson. I am a coach, speaker, educational strategist, and the author of the book Starfinder. And today I want to talk about how your child needs a happy mom. So, it's easy to complain. I think for most people, it's the path of least resistance. I know for me, as a young mom, I was a depressed mom. I really struggled a lot with, and when I use the word happy, for Christians, it's joy, but you get what I mean, happy, joyful. And so I really struggled with depression a lot when I was a young mom and didn't understand how I could be going along and I'd be fine, and then I would just drop into these black holes, and it would just take me weeks and weeks to, just dig out of these depressions. I wouldn't even know why I was there or how I got there until I began to listen to my thoughts. I actually was encouraged to journal. And I began to write down what I was thinking. It was a pretty amazing experience. When I started writing down what I was thinking, I began to realize why I was depressed. A lot of my thoughts were negative. A lot of them were fearful. Many of the things that I was concerned about were things I had no control over. And so I was just a mess. Well, that kind of rolled over to my kids because now they're here with this mom who is struggling, who's depressed. So she's not really focused in on the things that she should be. And that created some issues for me. And so I actually had to put in place some things to help me to really focus in. Good morning, David. To focus in, to make sure that I could create this environment of peace for my children because they needed it. In the world that we live in, there is so much chaos and disorder and just confusion and violence and anger all around them. Our homes have to be this place of peace, this place of rest for them so that they can come home and know that they're safe. And so I have some ABCs that I would like to share with you that might help you if that's a struggle for you. Because for some people it's not. But for me, it was. And so the A in ABCs is abounding in peace. Your house should be a place of peace, and it should be an overflowing place of peace. I had to learn to not stir stuff up. I had to learn to not walk in the door and the very first thing I say is, did you get your work done? Or why isn't that chore finished? Or what are y'all doing over there? I had to learn to enter back into the home and not stir up things, but encourage, even when I had to discipline. And that took some training and some learning because I didn't know how to do it. And so instead of saying, I can't believe you did that, that was so out of order, or wow, I'm really upset with you right now. I had to learn to take those words and turn them around and say, you know what? You are an amazing person. God has such a special plan for your life. And the way you handled that a minute ago, that's not who you are. Would you, let's do that again. And let's see if you can do it in the way that I know that God has made you to be. And if you need help, then Mommy can give you some words or maybe some time so that you can just kind of sit and think and pray. And then that's a much better way of getting to what I needed to get to. But I had to learn that. The B in the ABCs is beautiful and fun. Good morning, Tanika. Beautiful and fun. it's really important that our house have some element of beauty in them. You know, some pictures, art on the wall, or flowers or plants in the house, or just something somewhere in your home that brings beauty into it, that a person sitting there is enriched and they're encouraged. Now, this was a real struggle for me because when I first started out with little ones, there was just stuff everywhere. I was a butterfly and I just loved being out and doing stuff and not so much making sure the house was in order. And one of the things that I finally learned was it's actually easier just to pick up as you go than it is to wait until it's this big cataclysmic thing that takes, you know, a day to get clean. I had to learn that over the time. I also began to learn that the brain processes everything that's around it. And so the beautiful kinds of things in the environment, and I'm going to talk about being orderly a little later, but the beauty in the environment was really important. And even if I couldn't have it everywhere, just to have areas that actually looked appealing. And then the other part of the B is beautiful and fun. And the fun part is we played games, we had tickling contests, and none of this came naturally to me. I had to work on it. I had to intentionally focus on them and say, okay, what would be fun for them? And so we began to, you know, go on field trips, get outside, just enjoy life. And that's also part of the beauty. I love nature, so going to a farm or a park or those kind of things, bringing the beauty of this world to my children was something that really helped to give them that happy mom. It took me to a happy place to be able to go out and do fun things with them. And then the C in the ABCs for being a happy mom is being compassionate and orderly. And when I say compassionate, I'm talking about being able to walk in their shoes, understanding and remembering what it's like to be 10, what it's like to be 5, to remember that I was a child once and I struggled with some things. And so to be compassionate with them and to remember, you know, or to, even if I wasn't exactly like them, maybe our temperaments are different, to try to put myself in their position as I'm giving counsel, as I'm having to discipline, as I am just living out my life with them. And it made such a difference. And then going back to that orderliness piece, making sure there was order in our house. As I said before, I really struggled with order, and I had to systematically process over time to get better. So, you know, at first I started off with one thing, and then I was able to move, okay, now I need to get better at this. And then, okay, I need to get better at that. And God just gently just kind of took me, you know, to where I need to go. I will never have the type of house that somebody walks in and you can put the white gloves on and, you know, and there's no dust on the furniture. That's just not me. And I don't need my house to be to that level. But what I do need is for there to be a level of order so that somebody can knock on the door and I'm not frantic because, you know, stuff is so out of place. I've been there. We have had seasons where one time we smelled smoke in the house and I didn't know where it was coming from. And so we're, you know, frantically going around the house we smell it, but where is it? And so finally, I said, look, we're going to have to call the fire department. And so I called the fire department and I'm like, okay, we don't need you to come, but we just want you to give us some ideas. If we smell smoke, what are some of the places that we should be looking? They were like, I am sorry, ma'am. If you smell smoke, we have to come out to your house. I was like, no, don't come, because our house was tore up from the floor up. And I didn't want them to come. I was going to be so embarrassed. But, you know, he already told me they were coming. So we went and got garbage bags and we're stuffing stuff in them and throwing them in closets and just trying to get some level of order. Because somehow in the back of our brain, even though it was okay for us to live that way, we kind of knew it was out of order. And so we're actually in there trying to get everything in order. And as we're, throwing stuff in closets, we hear the fire going. Here come the fire engines, and sure enough, they're bam, 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 knocking on the door. All the neighbors are coming out. We lived in a townhouse complex, so close, real close to each other. They're coming out. Is everything okay over there, Gibsons? And I'm just like, oh my God. And so the fire guys come in. They do what they do, and they realize that the kids have been taking little bits of stuff and pushing them down in the vent, and it was going down, I guess, to the furnace, and that's where the smoke was coming from. God used that in my life, and he helped me to understand that though I will never be the put on the gloves and touch the furniture and there's no dust on it, that there was a standard that he needed me to have in the house for the kids. And that part of being a happy mom and creating this safe environment is bringing order to the house. And that when you have piles of this sitting up over here and stuff over there in the corner that you don't even see anymore, after a while, you don't see it consciously, but every time you enter that room, every time a child enters a room and there's clutter and there's stuff all over the place, their brain has to process all that stuff before they can get to whatever else it is, whether it's their chores or whether it's their schooling or whatever it is. They have to process every time they enter a room all the stuff that's in the room first before they can then move on. And so the brain gets really weighed down when there's lots of stuff around. Like, have you ever noticed that when you finally clean up your room, for those of us that are messies like me, how good it feels to walk in, and it's like, it's just something that happens when there's like a level of order that's there. And so part of being a happy mom is making sure that the home has some level of order. Now, for some of us who really struggle with this, I am not here to condemn you. This is not about condemnation. This is about saying, okay, I know I have some stuff to work on. Hey there, Michelle. Thanks for the hearts. I know I have some things to work on, and just asking God, okay, what's the next step? We were so bad. I'm just going to be upfront with you guys and just tell you where I was. We were so bad that the first step for me was when a person knocks on my door and, I don't know they're coming, I should always have some place for them to sit has order, that's clean, and I should be able to offer them a glass of water, which means I have to have dishes that are clean and I have to have some water in the refrigerator. Though, and I have to have some place for them to sit that they can sit down without me having to push anything out the way or without piles of stuff sitting all around. That was my very first level. That's where God started me. And then, the next time, then the next time, it was something else that he worked on. And so I'm just being fully and completely transparent because I need you to know that you can do this, that your child needs a happy mom, and that there are things that we need to be able to do to create this safe environment in this crazy world that we live in. And so, as I was saying before, when I struggled with the depression, I actually started journaling. I started writing out what I was thinking. And then that depression began to go away as I was able to say, well, is what I'm thinking true? Well, no. Okay, well, what is true? And then I was able to begin to work on that. Michelle, you said, my mom always said, keep house like you're always expecting company. Yes, it just makes such a difference. But for some of us, we maybe didn't necessarily learn that. And so it's a process in getting there, but it just makes such a difference when you have that mindset. But the other thing I had to begin to teach my kids is because we would clean up and it would be because somebody might be coming. And then the Lord began to say to me, well, what about you guys? Aren't you important enough to keep the house clean for? And so then I had to begin to shift and help them to understand this is a part of our stewardship. This is just a part of our self-care. This is a part of us being thankful for what God has given us. So if no one ever comes in the door, then we do it because it's the right thing to do. Michelle said, my husband will tell you that I get frantic when the house gets out of whack. I start to stress out. Yeah. So you have a natural something built in that just says, okay, order, disorder, bring it back in. I get that. And I don't have that at all. Not a bone in my body. Or at least it wasn't when I was younger. As I've grown older, I am in that place where I start feeling uncomfortable when things get out of order. But being a happy mom is a process, and it takes time. And so I just want to encourage you guys today, be conscious, be present, recognize you have the power to be a happy mom. You have the power to create an environment of peace for your home, of beauty, of fun, of compassion, and orderliness. And it'll make all the difference in the world for your children. All right, you guys, have a fantastic day. If you'd like some more tips on just how to work with your children, check out my book, Starfinder. It says discovering strategies for students who are struggling, but there's a lot of other strategies in there that just can help you in your journey in being a mom. Michelle says balance is key. Being on the other end can be unhealthy for creating that peace. That is so true. Balance is key. That's true, because if you're on the other end, then you can actually create stress about some things that really don't matter. And so that's wise, Michelle, that you understand the importance of the balance. All right, you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me this morning. Have a great day. And Lord willing, I'll see you again next week. Bye. Oh, the link to purchase the book is bit.ly/be a starfinder. bit.ly/be a starfinder. Or you can go to Amazon and just put my name in, Anita Gibson, and Starfinder will just pop up. Because there's a lot of other Starfinders, but when you put my name in first, it comes right up. Thanks for asking. All right, guys. Take care. Have a great day.